Wysteria, energy, twister.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and to our adventure of all the spirits we could possibly fit in, let's say. Anyway, we're still on the A's and the next one is the Achelos. He who washes away care. The origin is Greek. Achelaus, also pronounced as Achelaus, is king of Greece's river spirits. He was venerated throughout Greece and southern Italy. Achelaus' primary role was to ensure the successful maturity of a young man. He also begets bodies of water, including streams, rivers, and springs, and so is a spirit to petition if you desperately need a new source of water. River spirits are traditionally associated with fertility, and Achelaus is certainly fertile. He is the father of the nymphs, sirens, and many sea spirits. Achelaus and Heracles competed for the same woman. While battling, Heracles ripped off one of the Achelaus' horns that he was capable of battling. Heracles in testament of Achelaus' own power. Archelaus' blood spilled on earth, fertilizing her. The sirens emerged from this union in similar fashion to the birth of Aphrodite. Alternative myth, though, comes in here. Archelaus is their father, their mother was a muse, and they were conventionally conceived. That's the other way of looking at it. But anyway, he was an extremely important spirit. Zeus himself instructed that offerings be made to Archelaus. Achilles is described as venerating Achelaus. Masks were made in his image, and small images of his head were worn on amulets. Is a spirit of prosperity. Some theorize that he's a true horn of plenty. He typically appears as a bull with a human face, but he's a skilled shapeshifter, sometimes appearing as a man with a bull's face. He is a horned spirit, but one horn is broken or missing. It may appear in the guise of a merman with long, carved and curved fishtail, for a long snake tail sometimes. Water flows from his long beard like a waterfall. So, altars, he doesn't like being alone. He's traditionally honoured together with his daughters, the nymphs, alternatively surrounded with mermaids or sirens. That will help. Is attributed by a single horn, and his animal is the bull. Young men used to cut their hair and sort of dedicate it to him in exchange for guidance and protection of fulfillment of a vow made to him. The next is Acheri, India. Acheri are deadly disease spirits who manifest in the most innocuous of forms as little girls. They may be the ghosts of small girls felled by disease, or merely spirits who consistently take this form. The Acheri lives amid mountain peaks, but descends to human habitations at night. She preys on those her own size. If she casts a shadow over children, they will become fatally ill. The Acheri will not harm those who wear the colour red. Tie a scarlet thread or ribbon around a child's wrist for protection, and obviously do not call these people up. They are not spirits you want to work with. Okay? The next is Adamu, red. The origin is Shalia. The similarity of Adamu's name to the biblical Adam is no accident. The names are etymologically the same. As Adam is primal father, so Adamu is the female principal source of life. The female womb, which is the metaphoric red earth, from which new life is formed. Adamu is a primordial spirit of fertility, an ancient blood goddess, who oversees menstruation and childbirth. Petition her to regulate menstrual cycles, to stimulate desired menstruation for fertility, and to delay menopause as needed. Her colour is red. The offering, well, she likes menstrual blood onto the earth, or bury an afterbirth as thanks. And yeah, I'm serious about that. They're the only offerings she will take. She will take menstrual blood that's put into the earth, or if you bury your afterbirth. And the next one is Adiona. Italian pre-Roman is the origin. Adeona is the spirit of safe and speedy returns. She's indigenous to the Roman region, but predates the Romans. In other words, they found her there. She often works in conjunction with her sister Abiona, spirit of departures, and together they provide for safety of travellers in general, but especially of children away from home. She's the sister of Adiona and obviously can be brought in with her sister and worked with in the same way. The next is Adonis, and its origin is actually Levantine. Adonis, a breathtakingly handsome spirit, whose very name epitomizes male good looks, is a son of the myrrh tree. How does a tree give birth to a baby? The most evocative explanation, given Adonis' eventual fate, is that a wild boar slashed the tree open, performing a caesarean section with its tusks. Aphrodite rescued the baby, who was already so radiantly beautiful that she placed him in a closed jewelled casket and gave him to Persephone for safe keeping in Hades. Persephone couldn't resist peeking into the box and was instantly smitten. Adonis grew up in Hades' palace. The Greek magical papyri documents from early Common Era Alexandria classify him as he's a deity. He's a phonic deity, spirit of the dead, invoked alongside Persephone, Hermes, and Anubis, spirits able to pass back and forth between realms of life and death. Adonis, the subject of a mystery religion, was venerated almost exclusively by women. Information regarding his rites, beyond their most public aspects, remains mysterious. When Aphrodite returned for Adonis, Persephone refused to give him back. The result was an Olympian custody battle. The solution entailed dividing the year into thirds. Adonis would spend 4 months with Aphrodite, 4 months with Persephone, and he was given 4 months to do as he pleased. Legend has it he spends these 4 months with Aphrodite. Adonis is fun, gorgeous, and a divine lover in every sense of the phrase. He is a deity of pleasure. Some perceive him as a pig god. Divinity is the form of sensuous, passionate boar. He loves loving, and he loves hunting. He likes making time with women, but is omnisexual. While out hunting, Adonis was gored and castrated by a wild boar, bleeding to death on the shores of the Adonis River in Lebanon. The river, now called Nah Ibrahim, ran red with his blood, the blood that flowed onto earth transformed into red wildflowers. Explanation for the motivation behind his death varies. In other words, who sent the boar? Some say Aphrodite's passion for Adonis evoked Ares' jealousy, and he attacked Adonis in boar guise. Another version says that Artemis, irritated by Aphrodite, sent the boar, striking at a rival through a lover. Alternatively, Adonis, as a hunter, should have been paying homage to Artemis, the hunting goddess, not the goddess of love, and so Artemis reacted with rage, maybe? Yet another version suggests that Persephone, impatiently with the custody arrangement, decided to make Adonis a permanent resident of Hades. If Persephone is indeed the culprit, then her plans were failed and foiled. The ultimate message of Adonis myth is that a love exists that is so powerful that it transcends and prevails over death. In the context of classical Greek mythology, Adonis is a footnote. Aphrodite and Persephone's boy toy in real life. Adonis was a very important Phoenician, Canaanite deity. His name is a variant of the Jewish Adonai and means my master. It may not be a personal name but a title. His name may have been revealed only to initiates of the mystery tradition. That he was birthed and killed by a boar may help explain common Semitic pork taboos. Every year, Aphrodite led women in mourning for Adonis. Every year, the Adonis River ran red with his blood. Red earth runoff from the Lebanon mountains provides a more scientific explanation. The key to his veneration is that every year Adonis is resurrected. Like Persephone, he eternally enters death, only to return alive. Author Lucian of Samosata, Circe 125-180 CE, who wrote in Greek but was of Syrian origin, wrote that grieving women were consoled by the revived Adonis. His festival, the Adonia, was celebrated throughout the Mediterranean. Details are now vague, other than it was divided into two parts and celebrated exclusively by women. Part 1 was dedicated to mourning. Women wailed and wept over images of dead Adonis. Part 2 celebrated his resurrection. It is unclear now whether the two parts of the festival were consecutive or whether a lengthier gap of time separated them. In essence, he may have had two feasts. At least one of the festival days occurred in early summer. Some theorize that Adonis died near the summer solstice and was resurrected at the spring equinox. During the festival, women gathered on rooftops at night, drinking and singing. They planted gardens of Adonis, quick, germinating seeds planted in shallow containers, even clay shards. The little gardens were watered daily, stimulating speedy growth. On the 8th day, the gardens of Adonis, never more than sprouts, were tossed into the sea with images of Adonis, concluding the festival. The Adonia, always considered subversive by Greek and Roman authorities, occurred openly in the 5th century, among the most persistent of pagan festivals. His was always a mystery religion, and so was better prepared than most to go underground, while pagan traditions were banned. Adonis may lie beneath masks of John the Baptist and Saint Anthony, whose festivals are celebrated in June. His spirit lurks amid Greek and Italian Easter customs. Women let bowls of lentils or wheat sprout in darkness, then bring them into the light, often inside a church, on the Thursday before Easter. Adonis may be petitioned in the context of seances or any sort of necromantic attempt to contact the dead. He passes easily between realms and can deliver messages back and forth. He is able to determine where to search for missing people, the realms of the living, dead or both. Petition him to reveal needed information. His flowers that he likes are sacred flowers to him, scarlet windflowers, wild anemones. They're like his blood, I guess, and the Adonis rose. His fragrances are myrrh. Don't venerate him alone. He likes company, so you have to incorporate Aphrodite, Persephone, Astarte, nymphs or other spirits on his altar as well. He is petitioned any time, but especially in vernal equinox, summer solstice, midsummer's eve, Easter and feasts of Saint Anthony and John the Baptist. Give him sex toys, or things a hunter would appreciate. Offer him aphrodisiacs. Serve him arak, the ancient alcoholic beverage. Feed him special Easter cakes and bread. He's a luxuriant spirit, not ascetic. Offer sensuous gifts, but do not feed him pork. He likes his sex, girls. That's the thing. The next we are moving on to is Adrano. Adrano, also known as Adranos, from Sicily. Adrano is Sicily's sacred guardian, together with his sons, the Palisi. He protects Sicily and Cilicians. Adrano is the presiding spirit of Mount Etna. Adrano's temple on Mount Etna was guarded by a pack of 1,000 Chineci dogs. The Cerneco, also known as the Sicilian Greyhound, native only to Sicily and renowned for its beauty, intelligence and hunting skills, is believed to descend from Egyptian pharaoh Hams. These dogs have lived in Sicily for over 3,000 years. They once roamed wild throughout the island and held sway over Mount Etna. Hounds greeted pilgrims escorting them to Adrano's shrine, but allegedly attacked those who arrived with bad intent, especially thieves. It's his sacred dog, and very closely identified with him is this dog. Coins from the 3rd century BCE show Adrano on one side and Sanico on the other. The cult image in his shrine on Mount Etna depicted him as a warrior holding a lance, and coins from the 3rd century BCE depict Adrano as a mature bearded man. He is almost always in company of one or more dogs who obey him implicitly. The modern town of Adrano, at the foot of Etna, is named in his honour. Whether Adrano is an indigenous Sicilian or whether he arrived from somewhere else is very much subject for debate. It's possible he could have come from Phoenicia, but it's not actually known. Not for a fact, anyway. The obvious offering is his beloved dogs. And I don't mean that in a bad way, I mean pictures of them, pictures of the Senesi. It's almost disappeared until restoration efforts began in the early 20th century, so the breed does still exist. And you can still get the photos of them out there. And what it means when it says offering these dogs, it means the pictures of the dogs, okay? A visualization. If you can obtain a coin bearing Adrano's image, hold it in your left hand as a talisman during your journey. Keep it on his altar in a safe place when not in use. Before you begin, look at some pictures. Familiarize yourself with the appearance of Mount Etna and his dogs. Visualize yourself leaving home and traveling to Mount Etna. Take any route you prefer. This is a visualization, so you can travel by broomstick if you choose to. Even a magic carpet will do. When you arrive at the base of the mountains, take off your shoes and begin to walk up. The ascent must be on foot. Carry your shoes. Pay attention to your surroundings. Mount Etna is inhabited by many spirits. It is possible that you will encounter others besides, or even instead, of Adrano. At some point on the slope, Adrano's dogs will greet you. Imagine being greeted by 1,000 dogs. The dogs may suddenly appear, or you may first hear their barking. They will lead you to Adrano. When your time with him has ended, ask him for a gift. Then the dogs will escort you back down the mountain. When you arrive at the base, put your shoes back on. Go home the very same way that you arrived. But do remember, it's only visualization, okay? It's not real. Like, I'm not telling you to go travel to the river or the mountain or anything like that. It's a visualization, a meditation state. That's all. The next one is Aegina, Greek. She's an nymph or an Aead. She's the presiding spirit of the island in the Saronic Gulf bearing her name. She's the daughter of the river spirit Asopus Mithrop, a nymph in the guise of an eagle. Zeus abducted her, carrying her to an island, which he then named in her honour. Although stories sometimes describe Zeus having a romantic interlude with her, it was clearly a resisted abduction. She had to be brought far away so that she would have been on a deserted island for the relationship to be consummated. Her father did attempt to rescue her, but he was driven back by Zeus's thunderbolts. She bore 2 children, a mortal son and another son, apparently, so she had 2. She's extremely well connected with close relatives among sea and river spirits, as well as in the afterlife. If what you need or desire involves deities of many realms, she's the one you can request to come and serve you as a mediator or broker. Her image was very popular in the 5th century BCE, especially in vase paintings. She's a protective spirit who bestows prosperity and may be appealed to, and obviously she may help with family feuds. Her animal is the goat. Igor, or Igor, it is spelt Aegir, but it's also known as Igor, as in Eager, Lord of the Sea. This is a Norse spirit. Aegir literally means sea. In Norse cosmology, the presiding spirit of the ocean. It may also be understood as acting as a being of the ocean, or the ocean itself. Well, It says Egan is incredibly ancient, primeval even, and his nature as a deity is very unclear. He's sometimes called the Jotun, a giant, but he may be so old that he predates Jotuns or any other known classification. Regardless of what he is, he's generally good, as in terms of what the Norse spirits are. He's a good one. They socialise in each other's halls and realms, and apparently he's wonderful and a generous host, and invitations to his undersea parties are deeply coveted, at least by deities and perhaps the shamans or those engaging in visualization, although dreaded by seafarers. Aegea's palace beneath the sea is also a realm of the dead. Those who die at sea or whose bodies end up in the ocean are believed to journey to his realm. However, as afterlife realms go, Aegea in particular is particularly pleasant. There usually is a huge party going on with plenty of food and drink. Allegedly, he brews the best mead and ale in the whole world. He is beloved but feared. He protects seafarers, but he can also raise storms with huge waves and cause shipwrecks if he chooses. Once upon a time, Saxon pirates threw prisoners overboard in the belief that this kept him appeased. Aegir sometimes appears standing on the surface of the waters far out at sea. He makes himself visible to mariners, sometimes with protective intent, sometimes not. Petition him for safety of the seas and reveal the secrets of the deep. He may do that for you, because he knows everything, and he's well adjusted and full of knowledge, and can theoretically fill any request or recruit another deity who can. He's a patron of brewers. Usually his manifestation is a large, vigorous man with long, flowing mane, from which water flows. He's proud of his beard and grooms it, adorning it with charms, seashells, sea plants, and beads. His beard is equivalent of a mermaid's hair. Term what's attributed to him a gigantic cauldron in which he brews mead and ale. His consort, Ran, also his sister, they have 9 daughters, the 9 Wave sisters. His ruin is Lagos. His sacred territory is all the 7 seas, of course. Offerings. Be generous. He's a king. Give him objects reminiscent of the sea. Give him fine old coins sailors once carried. When they drowned. Serve him mead and ale, acknowledging that it's nowhere near as good as what he serves at home. If you're lucky, he'll let you taste his brew someday. An altar may be built for him, or offerings may be brought to the sea. So, that's the next part of our wonderful spirits. And like I say, they're very fascinating. I've always liked reading about this kind of stuff. So I hope you enjoy them too. When we come back, obviously, we're going to continue with the A's. But don't worry, we're not going to do too much of the nymphs and stuff, because we did a lot of them because they're classed as fairies as well as spirits, so it's kind of hard, because they generally do have them in both encyclopedias. So we'll try and bypass the ones that we've already done and stick to the ones that we have not. Thank you so much for listening. Please hit the like, share if you can, and if you've not subscribed yet, then please hit the subscribe button. It's completely free of charge and it really helps the channel. Many blessings.
Wysteria. Energy. Twister.